Now that's a pretty sweet Star Trek costume. Welcome everyone. My name is Chris, and in this video, I'm going to be altering and tailoring this purchased green wraparound tunic from Star Trek the original series season 2 to fit me. I'm going to walk you through the steps and what details you want to look out for and which ones you want to alter. I'll go over that, but in this video I'm going to pick out the 5 things that are, I wouldn't say wrong, but they need to be adjusted or addressed for it to fit as best as I want it to fit. So here's what we're working with. We have the season 2 green wraparound from the original series of Star Trek as worn by William Shatner. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to readjust all the Velcro on here. I'm going to put it on, mark it with chalk, and see where the best spot for this to lie is, whether it's moving it down or up or adding a few pieces where they need to be put. And once that's all figured out, we'll see where the final lie of the neck line is going to be. So if it's too long, we're going to have to adjust this by moving this collar up, or vice versa. If it's spread out too much, we got to pull it down. And then once we see how the final form is on me, if this is still sticking out, this underpiece that wraps underneath, we're gonna have to trim that out, trim that away so it's not visible anymore. This is one of the easier parts. It is a knit fabric, so you don't actually need to finish it unless you want it to look a little more professional. The next thing that I would have to address is the sleeves. The distance between the braid and the end of the sleeve is almost 3 inches, and it needs to be at least 2 or less sometimes. So I'm going to bring that down about a full inch. That means I have to bring all 3 of these down simultaneously. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on the purchased green wraparound just to get a sense of what it looks like on me before any of the alterations. So at the end of the video, we get to see how all those changes look overall. So without further ado, we're going to get an establishing shot of me wearing the as purchased green wraparound. So here it is, the wrap as it came to me. I lined up all the Velcro pieces as they were factory made. Just one piece here, one piece here, and one piece on the lower back. If you see it. It does need some work. This neckline is not lining up correctly. This is sticking out here, sticking out here. The sleeves are squeezing on my arm right here with the braid, which we're going to adjust that, so that'll be solved with that problem. And overall, it has the look, but it's not polished, so let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on and lay it on my body the way I ideally want it to be. So I have this chalk here, and I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to ignore where the current Velcro is, and just going to kind of place it where you think it should be. The Velcro that's attached to the back of this should hold it in place. If not, you could always use some clips or safety pins. And then once you have it in a good spot where it fits right and looks good, you're going to want to take the chalk and outline the edge where it's going to meet up with this piece, and then you're going to add your Velcro there. You're going to mark where you want your delta to be. You're going to disregard everything else, even the collar. That will be addressed in the next step. And then after that, once you have everything placed, whatever's peeking out here, that could be trimmed out. And then we'll move on to the sleeves. But this is a crucial step. Just make sure you have it where you want it. Mark where this piece overlaps this piece. And we're gonna add our Velcro as needed to just secure it. So that's the next step. So I've went ahead and marked a chalk line to where the one piece overlaps the other piece, going down from here to here. Next thing I want to do is remove the existing Velcro, and then we're going to mark where we want the new Velcro pieces to go. The Velcro that's on the inside here, we can leave that Velcro, but what we can do is we can add some extra pieces that go further down here. We're probably going to have to hand sew that down because we don't want the stitching to come through the outer edge. So I removed the existing Velcro, which was situated right here. Here's my chalk line. And what I'm going to do now is, I'm not going to bother with the old Velcro that was here. I'm going to cut a new piece along this line here. It's not going to be exactly along the line because it's a bit curved. But I'm going to measure it out. It's going to be longer than the Velcro that was here, just to give it a little more secure look and a better finishing look. So we're probably going to cut it right about here. That's good for that piece. The Velcro that I'm using is this tan, regular sew-on Velcro, 5/8 of an inch. You can go bigger, 3/4 or 1/2 inch. Depends on your preference, but 5/8 works great for me. So I'm going to add that piece right about there. I'm going to cut. All right, just a bit of a check-in here. I've sewn all the new pieces of Velcro of the, I don't know if it's hook or loop, I'm not sure which one's which, but the softer side over here for the belt, and then come around here for the chest area. There's the new piece that I added, longer, and then here's a secondary piece. So now what I got to do is, because I added more pieces than there are the opposite side of Velcro on the inside, I have to now hand stitch and extend that down and then add another piece. So I went ahead and tried it on and marked off where on the collar it needs to be shortened from. So this is the mark I made here. So instead of removing the entire collar and then repositioning it, an easier way is to just detach it here, and we're going to sew it in and on itself up until that point, so that the gold piping does not have any black coming next to it. It's much easier than removing the whole collar. We just want this shortened right about here. So. slid back the collar. The collar went up to probably about here, trimmed it on the underneath part, and then I folded it over, and then I hand stitched it down, just so it makes that same gentle curve down as it did before. So I just tried it on, and there's a couple of more things that I need to do that I didn't realize until I finished these pieces. There's going to be needing another piece of Velcro extended this direction, and then in addition to that, I need to finish this end here and have it fade into the back here. So I've done the additional pieces here. I have that front piece to the top of the collar here, as well as I finished off the edge that I snipped earlier. So where we're at now, I've split open the sleeves so that when I remove the braid, it's much easier to sew back on. So this whole section is going to go down about 1 full inch. I do have a better quality braid, but I think I'm just going to reuse the braid here because it's pretty good, and I'd rather save this for a scratch build project. So the braid has been repositioned. That was the most time-consuming part of this whole project, from undoing the sleeve to taking all the braid pieces off, repositioning them, putting them back, and that was the last big part of this project. I just have to sew up the sleeves, and then once that's done, we'll do a final test, and we'll see how it all turned out. And there we have it, fully completed tailoring of a Season 2 wraparound tunic from Star Trek The Original Series. This was pretty fun, really quick and easy type of alteration. You just got to know what to do and where to do it. But overall, I think it came out great. It definitely looks the part. Definitely a lot more polished than it was when I first wore it. And earlier in this video, I'll give you a full. So if you do have one of these, this is kind of the way it should look. A lot of people aren't comfortable with the high waist of these, but it was how it was on the show. So if you like this video, be sure to hit like, subscribe. I do have another video on green wraparound breakdown. Be sure to check that out, and I'll catch you in the next one.